Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Tito and welcome to Macho Nacho Productions. Now, as you may have noticed from the intro, today we'll be looking at an amazing mod for the Nintendo Switch from a company that I am absolutely in love with, Boxy Pixel. These are premium machined aluminum Joy-Cons with aluminum buttons and D-pad, and man are they awesome. In this video, I'm going to go over all the parts of the kit, how the shell performs, and my overall thoughts as to whether these metal Joy-Cons are worth the hefty price tag. So be sure to stay tuned all the way to the end of the video because it's going to be a good one. If you're new to the channel, we explore all the amazing mods out there for our retro consoles as part of my Retro Renew series. But I also on occasion look at mods for current generation consoles, like these Joy-Con shells that I'll be going over in this video. So if that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing to the channel so that you're up to date with all of my latest content. Alright, so for a while now, Boxy Pixel has been providing premium mods primarily for our retro handheld consoles, but this time around, they're tackling a modern console, the Nintendo Switch. More specifically, the Joy-Cons. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, then you'll know I'm a huge fan of this company. I purchased almost every single product Boxy Pixel has released, most of which I have featured on this channel. So when Nick, who is the owner of Boxy Pixel, first announced this project, I got really excited. I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Switch, and I even upgraded my other set of Joy-Cons with these really cool SNES shells. I have that video linked below. Now, I purchased these with my own money, so rest assured you'll be getting my complete and honest opinion of these shells. At the end of the video, I go over what I like and what I don't, but ultimately it's up to you to decide whether or not these shells are worth the hefty price tag. So first things first, let's go over all the parts included with this kit. Of course, the main part of the kit are the Joy-Con shells themselves. These are immaculately crafted and look absolutely stunning in person. Nick added some flair to the design with some subtle DMG accents on the right Joy-Con shell and the iconic ridges on the back. Very nicely done. Another really cool design choice in my opinion is the more angular edges. It almost gives the Joy-Cons a slightly more modern look. And lastly, the oval indents around the A, B, and XY buttons are reminiscent of the SNES controllers, again very subtle and well executed. These shells are being offered in 3 colors. The ones that I have here are the metallic ones, which are simply anodized clear to show the metallic finish, while there are also both a purple and black anodized ones available as well. I don't know about you, but the purple ones look absolutely stunning. I'm thinking maybe I should have gotten those. While these are the 3 colors available now, I'm sure that Boxy Pixel will release some others in the future, like he has with many of his other products. Anyway, the next thing included in the kit is also one of the great hallmarks of these Boxy Pixel products. And these are the screws that are included. Now you're probably saying to yourself, Tito, these are screws. What's so special about screws? Well, with every Boxy Pixel kit, you do not reuse the old original screws, which a lot of the time are difficult to organize due to different lengths and thread pitch, while also trying to remember where each of the different screws came from. Instead, Boxy Pixel kits replace all the old screws with a single type of screw that has the same length and thread pitch. This prevents any confusion. It's just one screw for everything. Now, with that said, the Joy-Con kits are slightly different. There are actually 4 types of screws, but don't let that scare you. All the screws have the same exact thread pitch, just different lengths. There are 2, 3, 4, and 5 millimeter screws. But again, they all have the same thread pitch, so there is minimal risk of causing damage by using the wrong screw. Now, not included with the Joy-Con kit are these metal buttons. I highly recommend that you pick these up because another great thing about this kit is that it converts the directional buttons on the left Joy-Con into a traditional D-pad, which in my opinion is how Nintendo should have made them from the beginning. If you opt out of the Boxy Pixel buttons, you'll need to purchase a replacement D-pad. All of the other plastic buttons will swap over just fine. Now, since there are several different aftermarket D-pads, it's not guaranteed which one will actually fit. The Boxy Pixel aluminum buttons, of course, are guaranteed to fit, and what better way to finish off your metal Joy-Cons than with metal buttons? Now, like I said, I won't be going over the installation process in this video. I have a very detailed Joy-Con shell swap instructional video that you can reference, which should translate very well for this mod. You can check that out by clicking on the card at the top of your screen, and I'll have it linked in the description below. Instead, in this video, I will cover some of the minor nuances of the installation that you should be aware of. So before starting the mod, I recommend checking out Nick's installation manual on his website. It has fantastic step-by-step instructions and detailed pictures that tell you how to conduct the shell swap. Using his manual and my shell swap video, along with the tips I'll be going over, you should be well equipped to tackle this mod on your own. Okay, first tip. Organize all the screws based on height. This will save you both time and frustration. It helps that everything comes in different baggies straight out of the package. Now, I measured the lengths of these screws and found them to be a little bit different than their advertised lengths. This isn't much of an issue, and I was able to do the installation just fine, but I thought I'd just mention that. Also, when transferring over the parts from the original Joy-Con, I recommend also moving over the thin gasket for the analog stick, as well as the double-sided tape for the haptic motor. This wasn't mentioned in the Boxy Pixel instructions, which isn't a big deal, but it's something that I did for my particular installation. The next tip has to do with using the correct screws. Now, because these shells are made in small batches, each Joy-Con shell might be slightly different from one to the next. You may find that a screw you are using is too long and won't go all the way in. If you're having trouble with a particular screw, simply unfasten and use one with the appropriate length. Next, related to the previous tip, do not over-tighten the screws. You run the risk of damaging sensitive Joy-Con components or stripping the threads. Just take your time and go easy. Follow these tips and you should be well on your way to smooth sailing. Great, so how does the finished product feel and perform? I have to say everything feels absolutely fantastic. Again, with all Boxy Pixel products, it's really something you need to experience in person. These feel absolutely fantastic in the hands individually, as well as in the Switch console and in the grips. I can't get enough of these Joy-Cons, and now have a renewed interest in picking up my Switch again. To me, it's like playing on a totally different console. It's really hard to express in words. Now, when picking up the Switch, the sensation of the cool metal surface is really just awesome and feels very premium. These shells also weigh a bit more than their plastic counterparts. The extra heft really feels great. I also tested to see if there were any issues with connectivity given the metal housing, and found there to be no issues whatsoever. I typically play from my couch, which is about 8 feet away from my Switch console, and did not experience any connectivity issues. Just to be sure, I tested it from about 15 feet away, and still, everything worked perfectly. Every part of the shell is extremely well thought out, and the final product is simply stunning. Something that I would love to have seen being offered in addition to the Joy-Con shells would have been an aluminum rear shell to the Switch console itself, much like many of the other kits that are currently available on the market. One could even conceive that a rear metallic shell could incorporate the heatsink, removing the inner heat spreader of the Switch and perhaps improve thermal performance of the unit. Now, I know that's wishful thinking, but I really hope that Nick at Boxy Pixel will consider making this. My only other complaint is, of course, the price. As of the making of this video, the shells by themselves are $99 US, and if you opt to get the buttons as well, that's another $22, for a grand total of $121, and that's before tax and shipping. Now, while I don't like the price, I do think it's completely fair and justified. Boxy Pixel is a small company, and the amount of design, materials, labor, and manufacturing that goes into these premium shells is significant. The fact that we even have these as an option, to me, is incredible. I've never had any issues with Boxy Pixel products, and these are of the highest quality. This is a company that I will continue to support, as it's clear that the amount of care and thoughtfulness that goes into these designs is worth the purchase. One needs to keep in mind that these are premium. As far as function is concerned, there is no perceived benefit. However, the feel, fit, and finish of these shells make your Nintendo Switch a real pleasure to play. Well, there you have it guys, the aluminum shells and buttons for the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons from Boxy Pixel. What do y'all think? Are any of you planning to do this shell swap to your Joy-Cons? Do you think these shells are worth the hefty price tag? Let me know your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Macho Nacho Productions. I release content every Thursday, so be sure to turn on notifications. And as always, see you next time.